Welcome to Inside the Force. I'm Greg Grunberg, a.k.a. Snap Wexley.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
And we are here to do, finally, our full review of Solo, a Star Wars story, which has been a week now. I have, unfortunately, not been able to see it the second time around. Casey's seen it twice. So, but it's pretty fresh in my memory still because we've been talking about it on and off all week. So, plus I got the official guide today. I've been reading through, so I've kind of refreshed my memory. And I feel like, I actually feel like a second, which I'll get into, but I feel like a second viewing won't change as much of my feelings to the film. So, there's a couple things I want to just pay attention more to, but we'll get into all that. But before we do, let's just brief on the week that was real fast on what we got going on out there.
Well, I guess movie news, it's all Solo right now. However, it's not doing as well as we'd like to in the box office.
Yeah.
I think last I checked earlier today, it's 150 something or 200.
197 actually.
197. That was
Worldwide.
close to 200. Yeah, close to 200 million. So it's not doing as well as Rogue One was at this point. It's like the 6-day run. It's not. It's lower than Rogue One was during the 6 days. But it's comparing to other Memorial Day releases. It's actually 7th, I think, in all time Memorial Day releases. So I think that's good. I looked it up, and the other Memorial Day releases were all like X-Men movies, pretty much. So it's been doing good with other superhero kind of blockbuster movies, and so I mean that's kind of what I thought. I figured, thinking about it, that the box office may not do as well starting off. The critic reviews may not be that well received, but I always thought though that the audience would love it, that the fans would love it, and hopefully word of mouth it'll have a it'll have a longer run. Like it won't drop off as fast.
Right. That's the key.
I still don't. I don't think it'll break $1 billion. Unlike what I kind of said last show, but I don't think it'll break $1 billion. But it'll still be a success. With it, whether or not this tells Disney to kind of back off on their movies or not, probably not, because it'll still make it'll still profit. But yeah, right now it hasn't broken even yet, but it's still young in the run of this film.
So that raises the question on what a lot of people I've seen on Twitter mention that they should have did a December release.
Probably that would have been so long, but wait, but yeah, probably.
But
was,
not really, because it would have been just a year.
Yeah, it'd been the same as everything else.
Yeah.
But it's things because they would have been
Because
done with the movie.
would it have helped the film in the marketing aspect if you had really slowly released marketing material instead of cramming into 3 months or even just in the last 2 months?
It just would have been painful because it's like, I know it's done. The movie's done.
Well,
so you're just waiting. But no, it didn't have a lot going for it because it came after Avengers. It came after Deadpool 2. So like I heard some people were even saying they had the option this past weekend to either see Solo or Avengers, and they went to see Avengers instead.
Yes.
So that stinks, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, it does have a chance to not have as much of a drop off in a sense.
Hopefully,
the next coming weekends, because again, like you said, the critic response is low, but I've seen not that much negative fan reaction to it. I mean, there's some saying that it's okay. No one's killing it by any means.
I've had some people that I don't talk to often, some friends of mine, like through Instagram and just texting and that kind of stuff, but like saying it's their favorite of the new Disney Star Wars films, So
right.
some people think it's their absolute favorite, so it's great. I mean, it's like Last Jedi. Like some people, Last Jedi is their absolute favorite.
Yeah.
So, it's a successful Star Wars movie. Whether or not, I guess, box office success, it will be a success, but just comparatively to all the other ones that have come out within the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, they're not. Yeah, definitely. Because it's what is a couple things. One thing I'm surprised about is definitely I read an article the week prior or the week of. It's like it was clearly Solo tracking at $150 million weekend, and it only did 84. And I'm thinking that is a huge mess up.
Yeah,
like. How is it tracked to 150 and all of a sudden only makes 84?
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it if it was tracking 150 and maybe made 135. It's like, but to say, because you're tracking it based on ticket sales. And it's like, it's almost like 150 million got bought and then the people returned their tickets. I was like, I'm like, that just doesn't make sense to me. And then the other thing is that what I'm a little confused about too is that, I mean, I feel like you'd agree with me that I felt like there was at least on social media, there was a major backlash of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people bashed it. A lot, worse so than this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like to the fact that like he ruined it. I can't. But when I see Twitter reactions right now, and I refer to a lot with Twitter, but like as I see people saying like rank the Disney movies. Last Jedi is like on the top of the list.
Surprising.
On most of them. I'm like,
Yeah.
where's all the bashing? And then all of a sudden it's like everybody loves that movie now. I'm really confused by that. So I'm confused about the box office prediction.
Yeah.
And then I'm confused about the ranking of Last Jedi now all of a sudden.
Well, you saw John Kasdan's tweet about he just acknowledged that there's people who were saying that it was underwhelming.
Right.
But I've read interviews and saying that John and Lawrence Kasdan's saying that this is 90% of the movie that they wrote. The last 10% is just scenes that got cut. But everything else, it turned out exactly how they wanted.
Yeah, I feel like that's...
So like everybody's happy. There's no...
Yeah.
Everything seemed to go well. The director change, of course.
Yeah.
But, that everything seemed to go fine. I mean, I've heard some people say that it was flat, like I guess for characters. It was... underwhelming with just the story in general, but
it was too easy.
Yeah, but that's saying if you listened to our expectation episode, it's like we went into the movie, not thinking that this would be any different of a story. Like it's a heist story. It'll probably follow certain traditions and formulas, and it did. There was nothing too unique about this story. It was just really fun. Great banter, great scenes with these characters, some great dialogue scenes, great action. It was shot very well.
Yeah.
Like there's 3 brilliant shots that stick with me even after seeing it twice. And it's just a lot of fun. Music was awesome.
Yes.
Music was a little different too. That
It
was different. It was great. I loved the music.
The sound in general.
Sound was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then super crazy, incredible Easter egg. So or cameo and Easter eggs. But
yes.
I mean, it was everything that I needed. I mean, I would love for Star Wars to start experimenting with their stories, that kind of stuff, different storytelling. But it was everything I needed to be happy as a Star Wars fan. It had everything I needed. So that but I mean, that's the beauty of this. It's that fans have different wants and needs. It's just unfortunately the ones.
Well, and it's definitely the spectrum. It's like Last Jedi changed things and made you believe in different things and introduced different things. It was like that's too much. And then now it's like
it's too simple.
It's simple and it's a great action movie. It's like I didn't get enough out of it.
It's like this is the class. To me, it's like the Superman argument when Return of Superman came out, or Superman Returns came out. People thought Brandon Routh was too girly of a Superman, and they there needs to be more traditional Superman, and then. Henry Cavill, it's like, oh, he's too dark. He's too like brooding.
He's not. He's not
almost Superman.
Superman.
Well,
Yeah.
which one do you want?
Yeah, I know. And why can't it be different?
Yeah.
So, we'll get. We're gonna here in a minute. We're gonna dive deeper, and one thing I forgot to mention at the very beginning was that, some of you actually reached out to us, and we apologize. We weren't able to get our full prediction episode together.
Yeah.
We did a lot of it in the expectations, but specifically like how the movie was going to go, we'll kind of touch on that a little bit as we go through the review here. But what you talk about movies, I guess there was a headline out there. Don't want to harp on it too much, but there's a headline out there from the Hollywood Reporter that James Mangold, the writer of
he did
Logan, right?
Yeah, Logan and the Wolverine. And he's done great movies
bunch
before
of
that
other
too.
Stuff, yeah. But he apparently is writing the Boba Fett
and that's what they say.
Star Wars story, or whatever it's going to be. The untitled Boba Fett movie.
Yeah,
that's what we should start saying, right?
It's going to be like that,
and then it's going to be Fett.
Yeah,
Fett.
Oh, okay, nice.
I don't want to really go into that too much, just because it's not fully confirmed,
right,
from Lucasfilm yet. So.
Yeah, I actually stayed away from that article because it came out the week of the film.
It did.
So I all saw was the headline, then I immediately stopped reading because I thought it was basically telling me like, oh great, so this is coming out because Boba Fett's in Solo. That's what I thought.
That's what I thought too.
So I was like, dang it.
I immediately, in my prediction, I was going to say we're going to see Boba Fett.
Yeah. And I actually was thinking that leading up to the movie. That
Yeah.
was going to be like one of the big Easter eggs or big cameos.
Yeah, so again, once it gets confirmed and stuff like that, we'll start speculating about that, but nothing yet on that. Real quick on Galaxy's Edge, which is the Star Wars themed park that Disneyland and Disney World are opening next year. It has been previously announced the planet or the system that the spaceport is located on. It's called Batu, or Batu, however we haven't heard it said yet, but... So Disneyland has their version. They're both Batu, but Disneyland, and then so actually that would have been cooler if they made them
go
different spaceports on the same planet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure they're both the same. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the name of the spaceport has actually been announced and released this past week, and it is called Black Spire Outpost on the planet Batu. Now, the release dates have been announced, too. They had a little trailer they put out there. In Disneyland in Anaheim, it's going to be summer of 2019. Unfortunately, for me, especially because I've been going every year, late fall is what they're saying for the Disney World opening, meaning their late fall is usually late November, early December. Because technically winter doesn't start till December 21st, right? So it's like, so I'm thinking, and I usually go in October, and I thought it was going to be out for a couple months.
Yeah.
And now I'm not even going to see it till 2020. I guess. I mean, I don't know. My wife and I actually talked about maybe going Christmas next year. Mm-hmm. So, but I could imagine how crazy that's going to be.
Yeah,
Christmas plus the opening of Star Wars. I'm like, are they just
true?
Wanting to destroy themselves up there. So anyway, I don't know what we're going to do there, but Celebration
News,
brand new website is live now. Not much on it, but there's details to come. June 5th is the
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Yeah, you're correct. So Tuesday is the release of the ticket sales.
It's 1 p.m. our time, Eastern.
Correct.
I think, right?
12
Central.
Noon Central.
Okay.
Because it's Chicago time.
Chicago.
So looking forward to seeing what happens with that. Of course, none of the guests are announced yet, but you can just imagine that it's going to be filled with people. I think actually Donald Glover's already mentioned he's going to be there.
Yeah, and I can think of some more. Gosh, Sam Witwer and Ray Park. We'll probably be there.
Yeah, probably
nuts.
Last couple things. Did you watch the Force of Destiny, the new one?
No, I read about the one with Kira. Were there more episodes than just that?
No, that's just the one.
Yeah.
what happened was on Saturday. No, it might have been Friday. I think it was Friday
Can't think
night.
about Friday.
Yeah, I think it was Friday night.
That's when I read about it.
Friday night they aired on Disney.
Okay.
The volume 3, I think it was, or 4.
Well, of
Volume
this
4.
This next season though, it's like
Yeah, so the
season
second
2?
half of season
Yeah.
2.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
those episodes.
Yeah.
And they added the Kira one
Okay.
in there.
Nice. Good timing.
So it had like the Luke and Leia one on Endor, and it had Chewbacca and a couple of those other ones. But Kira, I actually watched it during the day. They released it on Disney's YouTube channel still. Some great Easter egg. It had Hondo in it. It has IG-88 in it. It's called Triple Cross. So you can kind of figure out what happens. But it clearly takes place sometime in that 3-year gap, probably in the later part because she's pretty established. You know, as
Yeah, I think it references her even as a lieutenant.
It does.
in Crimson Dawn, right? So
correct. So it has to be kind of close to
Yeah, it seems like it.
close to Solo. So anyway, that's out there. Go check that out. Last thing is just they released or the other day they announced all the books that are coming out. They announced a lot of the books, but there was questions marks about the novelization of Solo, which usually comes out pretty close to the day that the movie comes out, but that's not the case in here. Of course, Last Shot's been out. Most Wanted just came out the day of. I'm doing the audiobook now for that. Lando comic, the 5-issue miniseries starts May 29th. So that just got released this past Wednesday, the issue number 1. Beckett has his own series coming.
I'm
in
excited. I'm
August.
excited for that.
Yes. So Beckett number 1 will be out on sale in August 2018. There's some other stuff like some kids books and Star Wars Adventure comics and stuff like that with Chewie and Han. The one that I'm most interested in, obviously, is the novelization of Solo, but unfortunately, doesn't even have cover art yet because it doesn't come out until September 4th.
It's crazy.
Written by Mur Lafferty. Don't know who's doing the audiobook. Don't know that name. But that is coming out then September. So I don't know why. So I mean, there's a ton of stuff coming out in October. You know, there's a Smuggler's Guide. There's a Tales from Vandor by Jason Fry, who wrote the episode 7 or like episode 8 novel.
Might be another short story.
Sounds
kind
like
of thing. That's cool.
Yeah. So some good stuff coming later in the year for Solo. So some stuff to hold us over as we wait for episode 9.
Yeah, got a long wait.
But of course, we have a brand new animated series coming this fall, Resistance.
There's a new book coming out. I don't know when it was. I just saw a tweet from oh my goodness, I don't know if it was Jennifer Heddle or can't remember someone else. But basically, it's a Women of the Galaxy Star Wars.
Yes, Amy Ratliff.
Amy, that's what it was. Yes,
Amy Ratliff.
Because that's going to feature some
women
of the characters from the female characters from Resistance. You're going to see some glimpses.
Really?
Of them. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Oh.
So that would be.
I was actually starting to try to count like 25.
Yeah,
women.
how many? There should be plenty, but I don't know.
I think I named like 15 or 16, but I didn't know. I'm pretty sure.
I guess all movie, TV show
all
characters,
the main,
not book characters, probably.
Yes, probably.
That's usually how they go.
But how many Jedis do you put in there? You know, like
yeah.
Ahsoka, I'm assuming, is in there.
Ahsoka, Rebels characters, you get a lot of them. Yeah.
Hera, definitely, yeah. Sabine, but it's like I don't know. I doubt Aya Sakura is like she's not probably in there.
I don't know, like Governor Price maybe if you're doing like that.
Well, Ray Sloan maybe for sure.
Maybe that's the only one that's like I'm not sure because she hasn't been in a TV show or movie. So
true.
But
she's huge. I feel like she's huge.
So that'd be great if they did get some love to the book characters. But we have Padme, Leia, Shmi maybe.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot. There's a lot of them.
A lot. Okay, let's go on here. Let's dive into this thing. So, first off, I got a lot of topics to check off. But first off, overall, what did it do for you, and how'd you feel after watching it?
I loved it, man. I saw it last Saturday with brother Corey, Master Koo, and with my dad. So it was me, my brother, my dad. Great. I mean, gosh, it was a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun watching. Exactly what I thought it was going to be. I knew the action would be good, but man, it was some thrilling action. The Kessel Run sequences, on the battle on the ground, but the dogfight in space, and the Kessel Run, that I was on the edge of my seat that entire time. Like that was gripping stuff. And then everything else in the beginning, the action stuff in the beginning with the train heist, that was really cool. But yeah, overall, it was a lot of fun, man. Exactly how I thought the story was fine. The story was fine. It was there. It was logical to me. Everything seemed laid out as it should. Characters were awesome. Alden as Han, he just nailed it. I got so on board with him as Han Solo now.
Yeah.
So I would like to see more stories with him as Han Solo. I still don't hope they go. I mean, I'm just going to have to get used to the fact that they very well could back Alden up to the New Hope. They could do it. You know,
I don't know.
I might not. I probably won't like it. I'll have to get used to it. But I'm just coming to the terms that this could be the first time people see Han Solo. So this is their Han Solo. Mm-hmm. So they could very well back up to that movie. So anyways, Chewie's great. Lando was great. Even the new characters were awesome. Paul Bettany was very good. Very, very good and scary as Dryden Voss. So overall, loved it. Left smiling, smiling throughout the whole movie. It was just awesome adventure.
It clearly, I went into Force Awakens with just an unimaginable excitement that we were getting another Star Wars movie, and I felt like that movie met my excitement. Mm-hmm. Rogue One, I had kind of the biggest mystery as far as how I was going to feel about it, even though I felt really good about it. And
there was a lot riding on it.
Yeah, and it actually exceeded my expectations because that has become probably one of my favorite movies, a Star Wars movie. Last Jedi, gotta admit, it was a disappointment a little bit for me walking out of that movie because I learned to live with the fact that it didn't go the way I wanted it to go.
Right.
And I accepted the way Rian Johnson did it, but there's still things about that I have
there's
problems
some fundamental
with.
Things.
Yeah,
about
exactly. This one, we've been saying it for easily the last 4 months. I had an expectation for it. I had an expectation for it to be adventurous, exciting, funny. Have that humor, and just an overall fun movie. And it nailed every one of those things for me. I felt like just looking back, it wasn't, I wasn't confused at all. It didn't take me out of the story, like to be complicated enough to be like, what's going on, or what, why are they doing that? What? It just everything kind of made sense as it flowed. I will say that. Later on, I will say there were a couple things that I wish they did differently, but again, it didn't affect story-wise or any kind of my expectation for what I was going to want to see. But overall, yes, it was to me, it was a very good movie, and not just a Star Wars movie. I mean, it was a very good movie.
Yeah.
It was a very fun. We kept comparing it to possibly an Indiana Jones type movie, and I think it
had it.
I think it was very much like that. So what? So kind of going through the movie now a little bit. What's your feeling about the opening? How it opened? Because
we basically got a crawl without a crawl, which it's just fine.
We had a couple fan films. We did that. The Blue Words.
Like
remember?
that?
the new
For,
hire ones and the.
Oh, right. Yeah,
we did like
yeah.
Blue Words.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I was watching, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this before.
So that was the first time I was like, oh, okay. There's a crawl.
There's a crawl.
It's a crawl. It's a still crawl. But that was fun. Yeah, I mean, it opened up how I thought it was going to open with them on Corellia and in the past, in a cold open, kind of like Rogue One. Didn't expect though the title to come so soon. I mean, if we're getting really detailed, it's like, oh, it's actually part of the environment there, which is totally different and fine. I mean, though and
it had a Star Wars story in the title, which I didn't expect.
That was fun. And I was totally expecting a Rogue One type of title card. I was thinking that these would be more of a consistent, like the saga's consistent. I thought the Star Wars stories would be consistent, but then maybe they won't be. So that's fine. You know, maybe they all will start with this kind of cold open and then I don't know, jump later. Who knows? Anyways, great opening sequence. I just feel like I was really just watching every frame of it, really trying to wasn't quite sure if I should welcome what I'm about to see. I was very on the edge of my seat of like holding back my expectations, even what the first few minutes of the film. I was just waiting to see how it was going to start before I could relax and enjoy the movie, or just be like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this. Because like Last Jedi, like the first scene with Hux and Poe, there was like that comedy there that really threw me off. That was like the first 5 minutes of the movie. I was just like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Yes.
This is a little different. I don't know about this.
True.
So I was kind of like holding on for Han Solo a little bit for the first 3 minutes, but quickly my feelings were at ease and I was just in it, because the whole it's this interesting sequence with Han and Lady Proxima, and it's such a crazy, scary looking kind of character, Lady Proxima.
Yeah, the white worms.
Yeah, just getting kind of that somewhat not too weird of Star Wars, but getting that kind of that different Star Wars where it's more monstrous than anything. So really fun, really cool. So I think it started off well.
Yeah, it took a second to get used to it because I actually in my prediction, one of my predictions in if we had done that episode was I thought they were going to have a consistent feel, all the Star Wars stories, which was the whole Corellia thing. Like I felt like we were going to get that condensed like we did Jin's early years.
2 minutes of like a short.
2 3. It's probably like 4 or 5 minutes, but the whole sequence before we saw the title.
Yeah,
because I thought that's the crawl, right? I mean, the crawl is Rogue One's crawl is kind of that backstory.
It's a prologue.
Yes, exactly. So I thought the whole Corellia thing, like I see it as like looking back now, I'm thinking like when he joins the Navy, he's walking down, like that would have been the Solo, it's like because he got his name then, and it's like I was thinking that would have been the consistency with Rogue One, right? No, I wouldn't have predicted him to get the name like that.
That was surprising. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it.
Totally fine. Remember that was a rumor for a long time.
The rumor I think was like he's not even Han Solo. Like, what's his real name?
Yeah, exactly. Like
something like
Solo's not his real name.
Yeah,
but
like even so, I think the rumor is even so Han is even like it's just a totally different name altogether.
Oh,
I didn't. Yeah. But no, I'm fine with like his name was just Han.
Yeah,
he didn't
totally.
have it. Like many
because it makes sense. It does actually make sense.
Yeah, he's an orphan.
That Solo meant. He's a street by rat. Himself, yeah.
Well, not necessarily orphan, but he's a street rat.
Yeah.
Aladdin, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was fine. I was fine with that. Actually, on second viewing, I noticed when he was walking into that Imperial sign registration, the little propaganda video that was playing in front, it was like saying, join the Empire.
Yeah.
It was playing, I think it was the Imperial March. It was playing actual Star Wars music.
I think I did hear that.
Yeah.
I think I did hear that. That is like, hilarious.
That's
the actual theme song that they have in the
It exists in the galaxy of Star Wars.
I think yes.
I think it was the Imperial March. I can't remember if it was that or I think it was the Imperial March.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I remember hearing it and I'm thinking, is that actually in the video or is that actually just in the soundtrack? It
was in the video.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
I was trying to listen. That
is awesome. That is awesome.
I was trying to recognize the voice, thinking like, is that Tarkin? I was wondering if it was Tarkin doing the propaganda narration, which would make sense.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't tell.
That's so funny to think like, like all those times in the Death Star, like it's actually just playing on the speakers.
Yeah. To get like Vader has to have that. It's his walkout music.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Every
the time.
he walks out, it's like dun, 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 dun.
You know, hey,
That
it's
is
canon
awesome.
now.
Yeah.
That music is canon. That's so funny. It's probably the first time I think maybe like a theme song has been made canon. I'm gonna
Yes,
say.
a canon theme song. Yeah,
Anyways, but it was a very good sequence.
Yeah, I was surprised about the title. I was, I kept thinking that we would just see Solo, not a Star Wars story like we did Rogue One and all that. But that's fine. If it's going to be different, I do think though. I wish. I do think if you're going to do words, just do crawl.
Yeah.
I wish all these movies actually just had a crawl,
Yeah.
but
That's fine.
can't go back now. Okay, so Corellia. I mean, Corellia. In my just look over at it, a first glance of it, like I felt like, and I remember we kind of talked about this a little bit over the weekend, but like it wasn't my I guess my initial thoughts of Corellia were similar to kind of like Alderaan, where it was a little more upscale, or
I always thought that. I think that
bigger
was
cities.
I think that was the old canon. It wasn't a slum.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was obviously a manufacturing planet because they build all these ships
All the
and
freighters
all the
and-
freighters, all the Home One is a Corellian ship. It's like you have all these big ships that come out there, and of course, obviously, the Empire is there manufacturing ships. Because you saw that also, you saw that Star Destroyer getting built.
Yeah.
So I get that part, but I feel like I didn't realize that it was, it almost looks like the lower levels of Coruscant in a sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
So I was a little surprised by that.
Trying to find. The one thing that I like though, they mentioned Han when he was riding with Kira that they were trying to get to Coronet.
Coronet, yeah.
Yeah, so because that was the actual capital in old canon.
Yes.
So I was always wondering if they would reference like cities like that.
And I
They
remember
did.
Coronet. See, that's why I remember it being more of a sprawling
It was
type
like
city.
skyscrapers.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
this. Yeah, very much like a Coruscant or just like a very upscale planet. But
Because Corellia, that's what's weird is that because Corellia, I'm looking at the official guide here, and it's got an updated map of the galaxy here. And I mean, it's Corellia, which it always has been. It's in the core worlds, right? I mean, it's next to Coruscant, Chandrilla, Alderaan, now Kuat also, which is a big manufacturing planet too. Star Destroyers, TIE fighters, and all that stuff gets built in Kuat. But then Hazian Prime's right there next to it. So it's like those are like kind of like the high scale, but they're also the oldest civilized
it's like
planets.
an inner
too.
city kind of thing. It's just very
Kind of,
like
I guess, yeah.
inner city slums in a way.
But I mean, it's described in this book as Han's homeworld, nestled deep in the galactic core, is an ancient world long past its prime. Han departs from the coastal city of Coronet, leaving a life of poverty behind him. But I'm glad we got to see it finally.
Yes.
Because I don't think we saw it ever in the
Never.
Clone Wars, right? Or
Oh no.
I don't think so. So, so great to see his home planet. As we kind of talk about the planets now, I was a little disappointed. I got over it, but I was a little disappointed that they weren't identifying these locations like they did with Rogue One.
I was like, I need to know where
Because-
we are.
Because I think, you see, that's what I don't remember. Is I don't remember Rogue One. I think we knew Scarif was Scarif, right? We knew. Did we know Edu? We knew Edu.
Yeah, we knew all the planets.
I think we knew all the
beforehand, except for
planets,
Mustafar. We didn't know that.
But we
That was a
knew,
surprise.
and we knew Leanne. What's her?
Lian Yu.
Leanne Yu is where she's from.
Yeah.
Or grew up, but I mean, because I remember in our predictions we were like, they go to this planet, they go to EU.
Yeah.
So it's like This one, I was like, I don't know. I knew Mimban.
I didn't know Savareen. I knew
Didn't know Savareen, but you knew there was a desert planet because of the trailer.
Yeah, I knew Vandor and
Kessel,
Mimban
obviously,
and Kessel, right?
But
Corellia.
so I was, but you know, I knew obviously we're on Corellia, and then when he leaves Corellia, we fast forward 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's on Mimban, and obviously I knew that because we knew I mean, I knew the look of that planet, I guess.
Yeah. And through like some of the toys, and kind of told me like
Stormtroopers from Mimban,
and then like there's toys of Han on Mimban, like when he's in shackles, and Chewie on Mimban when he's covered in mud. So kind of knew that.
Now, if ever we got, when I saw those scenes, if ever we got a live action Clone Wars, like straight up, like I know we got glimpses of it in episode 3 and episode 2 a little bit, but an actual just on the trench. That
was a war.
That was a war.
Yeah,
and that
messy,
was
just
unbelievable.
What's going on? Where are we going?
Crazy.
Yeah. Who's shooting who?
Because I guess it's kind of one thing to see a bunch of CG characters doing it.
Yeah.
But to shoot a live action like that, truly, that was like crazy looking.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome how he did that.
And there was more of those scenes in the script.
Yeah, I'd love to see
I think they even shot it. Yeah, they shot some of those. Well, I think some more of that, but there was more just of Han and the Imperial Academy in general. And
yes,
scenes
there were.
of him getting kicked out.
Yeah. Well, because that duo from the comics got cut.
Tag and Bink. Yeah, which one of them was John Caston.
Yeah.
He was really upset.
Yeah, he got cut. So they're not canon. They were, but they're not canon anymore.
That's sneaky, yeah.
So that whole sequence now, obviously on that planet, we get introduced to Beckett, and we get introduced to Val,
the team, Rio.
The team. Now, I think it was a day before, something like that, or they released. You showed me They released a clip, of that introduction.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you could have been spoiled by how he actually meets them. Mm-hmm. They're not part of. Oh, and by the way, this is spoilers. Just for everybody listening, if you haven't realized this, we're spoiling the movie.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, so don't listen to this if you haven't seen the movie. But you haven't, that you obviously, clearly, they're not part of the Imperial Navy. They're there on a job, and which is not what job. Are they not trying to steal? Are they trying to steal coaxium on that?
They're taking those AT haulers.
Oh yes, to steal the coaxium.
To steal the cargo from the train. Yeah.
You're right. Right.
So that was the first step.
So Han stumbles and finds out, and he wants in because he doesn't want. Now I loved Han's line to the commander when he's like, "This is their planet.
Yeah,
we're the hostiles."
Exactly.
Like that's the Empire.
Yes.
I mean, he summarized the whole
Yeah.
occupation of the Empire. I mean,
they got a problem, soldier? No, sir.
Yeah, I mean, and it's in this guy too. It talks about the Mimbam and the
I want to know
residents.
the native species of Mimbam. Are they like humanoid or are they?
They're not humanoid. No,
we never saw. Well, I think we saw a glimpse of what they look, but it was all like armor. Though it was all
That's what they.
Oh, so that's the actual face though.
That's
okay, so
Mimbanese.
I thought
Mimbanese.
when I saw that, I thought
that was a mask.
Yeah,
no, that's what they look like. Yeah.
Interesting.
The red skin.
Yeah, a little fish like.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Mimbanese,
yeah. So they're the Empire. It says here that the Empire is, just basically needing their facilities.
Yeah,
and they just want to take
it. That's their MO.
So they're wiping them out to take it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what was your prediction about how he met Chewie, or how he was going to meet Chewie? Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna kind of I thought he'd have interactions with Chewie. I thought Chewie would be a prisoner on this planet, and Han just kind of had interactions with him. But it's very similar to the book. Like he may have seen him being tortured. He just has a couple of run-ins with him. But then I thought based on the toys that came out, I knew Han would get imprisoned and chained up, and that's where he would then become friends with Chewbacca. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was going to be the first time he saw him. Wasn't once he got chained up, and then they escape together. Kind of, I basically thought, Han meets Beckett in the crew, and somehow gets imprisoned with Chewie, having known him earlier, and then all of them together escape Mim together. I didn't know that it'd be like Beckett. That was the cause of him being imprisoned.
Yes,
and then him and Chewie together.
I thought I was thinking that sometime during I didn't know if it was going to be Mim Bam or something else, but I thought during his stint as an officer, very similar, that he would see him being mistreated, a slave, and he was mistreated, and then that would cause him to get kicked out of the Navy, and then he'd stumble upon Beckett and all that stuff. So I didn't know, but as soon as he got imprisoned, and they said, feed him to the beast. What I thought then right away was, I didn't necessarily think he was the beast at first. I thought they were going to throw him in, and then they happened to throw Chewbacca in at the same time.
Yeah.
And they would have to work together to defeat the beast.
Yeah.
Because I was actually thinking of like something from episode 2, like either like one of those Nexus.
Yeah.
Something like that. I thought it would have been a cool Easter egg.
Yeah.
But as soon as he threw him in there and he landed in there, I was like, oh my God, he's the beast.
Yeah.
It's like,
so funny.
How hilarious.
And then he actually speaks
Shriwook,
or however you say
Shriwook,
yeah. He actually speaks it. That's so awesome.
He mentions in the Most Wanted book, the early parts of that book, he mentions how he knows, doesn't say how, but he knows Huttese and Shriwook.
Yeah.
And how, I don't know how, being a street rat on Corellia, you learn Huttese and Shriwook, but I really love that introduction. I really love how they.
Yeah, I love that. He uses Moof Milker even at this age.
Yes, yes. Now, were you surprised? I was anticipating like that. So when he gets the shower part was hilarious too.
That was funny.
But when he comes down, and you from the trailer you hear, "What's your name?" Oh yeah. For some reason, I was thinking that. I was thinking we would get an explanation, because it's not really technically established, I don't think, in canon, about a life debt.
Right. No, I thought about that after I saw the film.
Yeah. I thought he was going to say, I thought Chewbacca at the time was going to say to him, I owe you my life, and I'm.
Well, isn't that established in the Life Debt Aftermath book?
I don't remember.
At the end, I feel like there was like a conversation or something there about them saying like the life debt is over. Han, what Han did and Chewbacca did for each other.
Yeah, you're right. There's something in there about that.
And then that's why Chewbacca went off on his own and Han went off on his own at the end of that book. I think
the end of that book or before that book?
At the end of it. After the whole Kashyyyk.
After he liberated Kashyyyk?
I think at the end of the whole Kashyyyk thing. I think it was like they're all
because that's the thing is wasn't Chewbacca out doing it himself already, and then Han went.
That's what they split, and then I think Han went back.
Yeah,
I think they split off for some reason, but I think I'm pretty sure that was established in that the life debt is canon. But you're right. After that, I saw the film. I was like, there was no mention.
At some point, he's got to tell Han like,
well, there's more stuff. I feel like that's left for another story. So maybe the life debt isn't even established yet until like a next story. Maybe something happens in like a sequel where the life debt becomes there. Because there's some other things that I have lingering that I want kind of shown in like a possible Han sequel. But
so now we've met the crew, Val, Rio. They go to Vandor to steal a new. Well, see, now I don't know how new it is fully, because we know about this.
It's new to canon.
The name is new.
Yeah.
So coaxium so I'll just read this out. Coaxium is a form of hypermatter. It's a precious substance that bridges the dimensions of real space and hyperspace. So basically, it's explaining how ships can go into hyperspace. It is essential fuel for light speed travel. A thin coating of coaxium lines a ship's hyperdrive reactor chamber, and when energized, allows for transit into the dimension of hyperspace. So here's the thing: is that the coaxium, the name, is canon now, but we've seen where it comes from, and it's those creatures and rebels. So old and new discovery. So refined coaxium is a far cry from natural form of the substance. Ancient spacefarers discovered coaxium in the organs of purgil.
Yeah. Space whales.
Huge space-traveling creatures. The purgil inhales space gases containing traces of the gas clozone-36, which then metabolize into a hypermatter fuel. This enables them to jump into hyperspace. So that's the last time we saw Thrawn and Ezra. These creatures hyperspace that Star Destroyer. So it's a substance that has come from them, and it's also, I guess, can be mined. Right, so it's mined on Kessel and different place, and then you refine it, and then it becomes this precious, priceless matter that that's sold on the black market anyway. But so coaxium that's the thing we talked about in our show. Like, what are they stealing? So coaxium is the big truckload of coaxium, and we also get introduced, obviously, to you knew. Dryden Voss was the group that, or the guy that's hiring these guys to steal the coaxium. I don't think it was would it ever fully establish what he was going to actually do with the coaxium. I don't think it was ever really.
Well, again,
it's very explosive, obviously.
Yeah. Misdirection from the trailer. We always heard big shot gangster putting together a crew. We thought it was Dryden.
We'll get to that, but that's awesome.
But yeah, so we just knew that he was just putting together a crew to steal something for him. And that's where I kind of thought, it was like, well, maybe my prediction was, I actually recorded my predictions too, like before I saw them.
Yeah.
And I had Corey listen to it, but as proof. But my prediction was that Dryden was having them steal something to help him get out of debt of some bigger gangster. Which I guess was mostly true. I mean, I don't know necessarily if he was in debt to... I think Crimson Dawn was going to do something with it. So he was just in charge of this, and he failed to do it. So he would get in trouble. Dryden Voss would get in trouble having failed to get coaxium. But I thought he would be actually in debt, and if he failed to do it, he would then be killed because of that.
So on Vandor, we have which I thought was an awesome sequence with the train. And I said earlier, or I said I was thinking in my predictions that train scene was going to be early in the film. And we're introduced to, obviously, Enfys Nest at that point, which, man, that scene, she's on top of the train.
Cool.
Man.
That little staff she has is awesome. Like
yes.
That concussion
so awesome.
staff thing.
So how do you feel about the quick exits of Val and Rio? I was actually very surprised by that.
Rio, I was fine with. I thought that was going to happen. I figured, because we'd only seen a couple of shots of him from the trailer, so I figured he would go.
Yes,
In fact,
we only saw a couple of things from Val too. If
that's
you
true.
think about it,
I figured Val would stick around longer just because it's Sandy Newton playing her. I thought she was going to stick around more. I did not know she'd be Beckett's, wife, love interest. I didn't know I would love Rio so much. He was funny.
He was
great. Jon Favreau
did a great job.
Awesome job. So didn't expect Val to. I predicted Val was going to die, but at the very end, I thought she was going to stay throughout the whole thing. I didn't know it being the first act, and which makes sense because that then gives Beckett drive and motivation to keep trying to keep going. But did not expect that, but it was great. A great sequence because you had multiple things going on. You had. Which is great for action. Like, you have the battle on the train with Beckett, who Beckett's is amazing.
Yeah,
he's an incredible, not bound a smuggler. You have Val's thing going on with the Viper droids and the pilot Han, the pilot upstairs, and trying to and Chewie doing this. Like, everybody was doing so many different things, and it was great. And Enfys Nest, they're the Cloud Rider gang. They're pretty cool just as a gang in general, and they're pretty tough, but a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. So we lose Val, we lose Rio early on, which was surprising, but then it makes sense.
Yeah.
because that's where you get the introduction to Lando L3. And,
Yeah.
you know, they go in front of Dryden, and Han discovers that Kira's still alive and all that thing. Now, Dryden now was, they released some early concept art because at first he was supposed to be an alien.
Right. Well, they shot it with I forget the actor's name.
Oh yes, you're right. Someone else stood in for.
Well, because it was going to be digital.
It was a
motion
digital character. Correct.
It was going to look like he was going to have like a lion head, like his guards. I think it was going to look like pretty much like that.
They had several. They had reptile
Yeah.
look. They had several different looks of what he was going to be.
Yeah. But they reshot it with Paul Bettany.
Yeah, which is awesome. He was great, I thought, and I don't think. I mean, I guess he's humanoid. I don't think he's human.
Well, it's weird. The visual dictionary says it's near human, but
yes,
I don't know what he would be.
Because he's got like some spiky fingers and.
Well, I noticed. Yeah, he's got the red eyes, and then if at the end of the movie, okay, we're spoiling, of course, but at the end of the movie when he dies, his eyes. You just watch it when you see it the second time. The color in his eyes go away, like the red goes away, and he even gets pale fast. Like I feel like the color in his skin leaves really fast.
Near human, yeah.
So I don't know exactly what he is, but he looks pretty human to me.
But see his fingers, like he's got. Like,
yeah.
Are those just long nails? I can't tell.
I just have long nails, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's.
He was. Gosh, he's so good. He's so creepy.
He's very good.
Scary.
So anyway, they have to, they Memphis Nest. The coaxium just does that big explosion in the trailer, and they got to go find more. So that's where the whole thing is we got to get to Kessel, we got to get it, steal it, then refine it, and then we got new, blah blah blah. So they meet up with Lando. It's the first introduction we have of Lando. By far, Donald Glover destroyed this. He killed this character. It was
better
awesome.
than I thought. Like his voice sounded better than I thought it was going to be. Like he sounded
his mannerisms, everything. It was so good. That was. I don't know what better way to intro Han meeting Lando than that game.
It's Han. That's okay.
Yeah. Everything you heard about me is true. It's like, but them doing that, and then of course you have the game that what you think might end up being the Falcon game, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's a good setup for what happens later. But anyway, so they get the Falcon, they go to Kessel. We're introduced to, which I want to hit on it later, a little bit later, but we see the Pike Syndicate. They're the ones running Kessel in a sense. The Pikes, if you've watched the Clone Wars, they're heavy in that as well. But great to see them like live action. I thought that was incredible. But yeah, that whole sequence, I thought all the stuff on Kessel was great.
That's probably my favorite. Like just ground in the air stuff with Kessel is my favorite. It felt very much like the whole rebellion thing was brilliant. I love that. Was so awesome. And when I saw it with my wife, it was my second viewing. She loved that part too. Like I could tell, like just her reaction. Like I think that was her favorite part. It was just funny. Like L3 starting a rebellion by accident, and then she just joins. It's like yes, I'm so glad we took this job. Like, yes, so funny and clever.
Now her dying in a sense was a surprise too, a little bit to me.
I figured she would, but it was heartfelt. It was definitely a heartfelt goodbye to that character. Now
I will say that as we're leaving Kessel in a sense, so they're obviously they're going down the what they call it the route, basically the Kessel run.
It's Kessel.
The
Kessel run, yeah.
And then the blockade is there, and they have to. That's when they take the different route,
shortcut,
right?
Yeah.
Shortcut. Totally didn't see that coming, where they plugged L3's consciousness.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the
into
thing.
the Falcon.
I forgot to talk to Cody about this because weeks ago, like a month ago, I think Cody talked to me about that happening. I cannot remember if he said he read that as a rumor on Reddit that L3 would then become the Falcon,
The Falcon.
or he said that himself as a theory. But
That would be a very bold theory.
it would be a very bold theory. That's why I need to talk. I forgot to talk to him about that. But I read that. I mean, he told me that. So it was a shock that it happened, but that was in the back of my mind, thinking as it was happening, thinking like, oh, okay, so it's this. This is what's happened. I understand because I've been told that this could happen. But that was really cool. Very it's great because then it just proves and backs up how good the Falcon is because it has the best navigational chart.
Very much so.
That's how it could be so fast and so good at, calculating light speed routes.
And then, someone I read there, like, it, harkens back to, I think it's Empire, where he's like asking 3PO to talk to the Falcon, and he's like, yeah, it has a particular dialect.
Yes.
And it's like, well, yeah, because it's L3, it's like, wow. Weird. I mean, weird how they can connect that. But, the creature which you saw in the first trailer, the mall thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty intense. Like you said, it was pretty intense sequence there.
Intense. Yeah, of course. When I saw the Corey, he's like, "Yeah, my nails were gone. Like I was biting nails the whole time." Like
I know it was very intense.
Yeah.
Now did that meet your expectations? The Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
It exceeded it in the sense that I was just so enthralled by the whole sequence. So I was just on the edge of my seat the entire time. But no, it was what I thought it was be. Just crazy, awesome action and adventure. I'm so glad that they introduced the mall. Whereas I'm pretty sure Old Canon, it was a cluster of black holes. It was the mall cluster. That's how you navigate around all the black holes. That's the Kessel Run. Whereas this one is just one massive black hole that you had to avoid. But no, that was great. I mean, I was literally when they dropped the coaxium in the fuel line and the ship just died. I was literally thinking like, well, that's it. How are they going to do? That's it. And then suddenly, boom, and they're out. That was so fun.
Yeah, I think it's neat to think about perspective. And when you watch episode 4 now and he says it's the ship that made the Kessel Run, you have a visual now of what that is.
But here's the thing, because I think he's kind of lying about.
He is lying.
It's not less than 12 parsecs.
No, it's
says
12 something.
He says 12 on Savareen. He says 12, but he rounds it down. So it's 12, maybe 12.8.
Yes, it's almost 13 basically.
Probably. So it's not less. That's so. I love that.
Yeah, you round down. That's funny. But either way, the whole Kessel Run is 20, right?
Yes.
So that's a pretty big jump, pretty big difference. So, and of course, seeing Kessel was actually because you hear what 3PO says, it's set into the Spice Mine of Kessel, and it was,
Anthony Daniels played one of the droids on Spice Mine.
Oh, he did?
Because he tweeted saying like, how ironic is it that I am actually one of the droids that worked the Spice Mines of Kessel.
Wow, I didn't know.
I don't know which one he was, because someone pointed out, asked him if you were the one. There was one droid that sounded kind of like Anthony Daniels, but he pressed this button saying freedom. It's like freedom, and pressed this button, which released all the cages. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it is him. That's what someone asked, but I don't know if he said which one he was.
So they mention as they leave Kessel, they have to go refine the coaxium. So they go to a planet. It's not that near, according to the map. It's actually not that near, but it's they
I think it's the closest refinery, probably.
Closest refinery, yeah. So they go to Savareen, which is a kind of semi-desert. Well, it's weird because it actually has water. It looks like it has water.
Yeah, I remember.
But it's deserts and water.
On the edge of the cliffs there.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, so, but they go there to refine it. But then this is where the big final showdown of everything is. Mm-hmm. Is Dryden's ship is there, and then of course Enfys Nest shows up, surprised on the reveal of who's under the mask there. I'm actually personally surprised that they actually even revealed.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Face.
I had heard. I knew it was a girl based off some marketing stuff, like I think French, like that's like some like French marketing thing. But and there was a rumor on who exactly that actress would be, but I didn't. Yeah, like you, I didn't know they would make a big deal out of it necessarily. I just thought it was just going to be a unmasked, cool villain.
Yeah.
She was awesome, even when she took the mask off, which was, I'm glad they did because it really brought to the point of this is just a young kid, part of the growing rebellion. This is just the new movement.
Yeah, that whole part about tying into their part of the rebellion was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
Right away, right when that got revealed, I thought that they were going to be revealed to be, well, actually, you saw one of Saul's partisans.
But was that the same one? Because I think it's a species.
I would think it would have to be.
I think he's just called Tubes.
Yeah, it is called Tubes. You're right.
Well, because I know there are 2 established characters of that species.
Well,
from Rogue
I think they're
One.
brothers.
Yeah,
right.
There's Edrio, and I can't remember the other one's names. But if I'd be surprised if it was just another one. It's like there's a lot of these species and part of the partisans. But yeah, I thought the same thing. So I was like, oh, it's Edrio. Edrio 2 Tubes.
Edrio, yeah.
But I don't know if that's confirmed or not. If it's exactly him or his brother. But I did think after they were talking that they are, maybe they're not yet a part of the partisans, but they are kind of like in the same line as Saul's type of crew, where they're just their own gang, they're guerrilla warfare, they just do whatever it takes, to get the job done. They don't really abide by too many rules, but they're still fighting against the Empire.
Yeah. So Benthic is Benthic is 2 Tubes.
We mean the actor's name?
No, Benthic is the one referred to as 2 Tubes.
Okay.
Forcing Benthic along with his egg mate Idrio.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not brothers. I guess it's his egg mate. I guess that's his brother, right?
I don't know.
It says egg mate.
Could be a
But
love interest.
according to appearance-wise, neither of them are in Solo.
So I guess
it's
it
not
could
either
just
of them.
be
So it's someone else.
species.
But either way, I thought I had the thought that they were actually part of Saul's group.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if at this point in the timeline, if Saul had his own, he probably doesn't have his own partisans yet.
Oh yeah. At this point, sure, he does.
He does.
Yo, I mean,
The
if you do Rebel Spy,
I read that one. Yeah.
oh yeah, at this point he's got because Jin. You remember
Jin would be
Jin's-
about 12 at this point. So yeah, I guess so. Small crew probably.
12. Well, this is how long?
This is 9 years before
9. Yeah. Okay.
She's about.
Well, she's like 6.
I thought she's like 21 in Rogue One. Is that right? 21.
Yes. Oh wait, is she 21? Yeah. Okay. So she's about 11.
Mm-hmm.
This is about 11 then. Yeah.
11, 12, yeah.
I get,
But she's with
he's
Saul.
been fighting. I mean, he's been fighting his whole
Yeah.
life. I
Yeah.
mean, he's got. I don't know if he's an extremist at this point yet.
Well, I think he has his own small crew.
I feel like
Little
he's
things.
because there's not an alliance yet, obviously. So there's just rebel. I mean, he's been fighting the Empire
Cells.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, Han basically helps fund the entire rebellion. I feel like with this coaxium,
yes,
like they have so many resources now.
it makes you wonder. Like who's this group's fulcrum? Maybe like is it Sokka or
Yeah,
Yeah,
Han
maybe.
came so close to the
Joining
the,
it
the
then?
big war, the big battle. It's the whole conflict.
yes.
Man,
Yeah. So anyway, that part I was a little surprised about, but again, I don't think that wasn't the story.
Right.
That was just a good sidebar, and of course, it helped with how it ended. So big battle with Dryden on there. Kind of fast forward to where we get to the reveal.
yes,
Which was very surprising. So obviously, if you don't know, it's Maul.
Maul. Yeah.
And I did not, I mean, as I'm watching this, I did not realize it was him.
Never thought they would ever do that.
Did not realize it was him.
You know, it's I kept thinking afterwards. I was like, I feel like I should have come to not quite that conclusion, but coming up there because throughout the movie, as soon as Dryden said, "You know who I answer to Beckett," I was like, "Oh, Jabba, it's Jabba the Hutt." And because that was my whole prediction, like Jabba's going to be this gangster, and then Dryden's going to mess up. So Jabba is going to send Boba Fett to kill Dryden. That's what I thought was going to happen. That's going to be like the coolest Easter egg ever, or coolest cameo ever. But then throughout I was thinking like, well, who else could there? What other big gangster could there be? Like, well, who else is established? And then I thought, well, the only other syndicate I can think of is Black Sun, and maybe they'll introduce Prince Zyzor.
That's who I thought at first.
You know, but then I should have thought like I should have remembered Clone Wars and be like, wait, no, Black Sun is taken over by the Shadow Collective, right? Is that what he called?
It became part of it.
Yeah. So
he collected all of them.
I should have thought like, oh, it couldn't be Black Sun. It would be Darth Maul's group. But then that's where I would have stopped. I would never have gone forward and been like, oh, well, it's going to be Darth Maul. Totally out of the left field.
Totally.
But it makes sense.
Yeah. So let's. It does make sense. You know, it makes sense in the fact that yes, he formed a collective with the Pikes, Black Sun, Mandalore, Death Watch, and he had this kind of an agreement with the Hutts and all that stuff. I mean, it was like all these. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they mentioned 5. Did they mention 5 syndicates or something like that in this movie?
Remember. Yeah.
There's because I was starting to try to think while I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, who are the 5s? Like the Hutt clan, you got the Hutt clan, you got Black Sun, you got the Pikes, and you've got Crimson Dawn, which is a new name, a new can. And I was trying to think, well, who's the 5th? You know, is it Death Watch still? But no, that kind of got ended.
I don't know.
Well, according to what I've been reading online, is that's what everybody's trying to figure out. What's the 5th syndicate? And maybe we're introduced to that later, or maybe it's something that we've heard of that's a little bit bigger now. But anyway, regardless, which makes you also, if you think about it, crimson is red.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, there's another Easter egg that I never would have caught because I didn't know that much detail about it. But the fighting style of Darth Maul, Teresi K, or how they talk about, Kira references that.
She does
when she's on.
I didn't know that was that.
I didn't know. No, when she was on Kessel and she fought off the director, the whatever foreman, in that office, and L3 was like, "Whoa!" That was a funny moment. But she mentioned like, that was Teresi K. Dryden taught me. But later I read, I was like, "Oh, that's actually Darth Maul's fighting style as well." So that if I'd known that much detail, that would have triggered me.
Yeah,
like, that's interesting. That's a cool Easter egg.
That is cool.
But no, it's so interesting that I mean, yeah. As soon as she started talking to somebody, I saw the robotic leg, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess it's like a cyborg or somebody." Then I heard the voice.
Yeah,
see,
I was
freaking Sam Witwer.
I know, and I was so just thinking of possibilities that I didn't really pay attention to the voice.
You just never would have thought.
And I really never thought it until literally he started taking the hood off. I'm like, holy cow, it's Darth Maul.
I was like hitting the sides of my chair. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, totally.
The risk of them introducing that. And apparently that was not quite from the beginning. Ron Howard kind of fought for it.
Oh, really?
Like that was one of the options. Like they had a list of like, it could be Darth Maul, it could be this person. And Ron Howard, when he came in, it still wasn't decided. And then he saw it, and he kind of fought for them to say like Darth Maul. And then like Lawrence Kasdan agreed. They all agreed. Like talk to story group, make sure it worked out. And like, so it's gonna be Darth Maul.
Whenever I saw the image of the person sitting there, not just the leg part, but when it showed the hooded part, I was like, is that the Emperor?
Yeah.
And then I thought, no, because if the Emperor wouldn't be involved in that. And then I thought, is it Vader, but like not without his suit on? You know what I mean? Like
caught him in a bad time.
Yeah, like because it was mechanical legs and all that stuff.
That would have
been
cool.
God,
Crazy.
Vader with with his he had his mask on maybe underneath that, but like his armor and all that was
something
off. You know, he just had his body with his arm mechanical. I thought that would have been really cool to see. You know, but then anyway, so yeah, the whole thing was now. Some people have mentioned to us of questioning the timeline of Maul and how this is possible. And of course, everybody that's online have never seen Clone Wars, they're
That's why
obviously
it's
questioning.
so risky.
Very risky.
So like, I'm glad because it just
It's a lot of confusion.
It tells me that Lucasfilm, they're not afraid to go that
That's right.
that they really are connecting everything.
Totally.
I'm so on board with that.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like putting Ghost in Rogue One is one thing. That's that's an Easter egg. This is a cameo of a major character.
That's exactly right.
And the ramifications of this and future stories. I mean, it's crazy. And now we could see anybody
That's
pop
right.
up in a movie.
Very much so.
Ahsoka could have her own movie.
That's
now,
very true.
you
Yeah.
know, so-
Yeah. And that's so the timeline for people that really quick don't remember or don't know. You know, so 32 years before Episode 4, 22 years before this point, we're introduced to Maul in Episode 1. He apparently gets killed by Obi-Wan, and that's what again.
That's it.
People have seen the movies.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you know. Maul. That's it.
Yeah.
George Lucas, it was his decision to bring him back to life in the Clone Wars. So I think it's one episode of season 3, or
I think so.
maybe
Is
4.
that it was at the end of one of the seasons.
Yes.
With Savage.
Savage tracks his body down on a deserted junk planet, and he's rebuilt through the dark side. He's kind of rebuilt himself, not stayed together, but like kept his body from dying. He puts these mechanical spider type legs on for a while, but he's lost. His consciousness is not
His
really.
horns are super long.
Yeah,
He just looks like a
he's
crazy
doesn't
maniac.
really know who he is or what he's doing. So
Yeah.
his brother Savage grabs him, takes him to the Night Sisters, and Mother Talzin is able to restore the mind of Darth Maul, put some mechanical legs. Now, at that point, they're really long, kind of weird-looking legs, kind of like chicken legs in a sense. So, and then there's sequences of him wanting to go after Kenobi, and there's plenty of times where they fight. In season 5, Maul wants to build his revenge against the Emperor. You know, he's not really thinking of revenge against Kenobi at this point. Really, it's a revenge against the Emperor. So he goes in the underground world and recruits and creates what you said, the Shadow Collective, which is the Pikes and the Black Sun and Hutts and Death Watch and all this stuff. And he takes over Mandalore. Well, the Emperor can't have that. So, awesome ending to season 5. He comes in, or one of the episodes, in the last episodes of season 5, he comes in, kills Savage.
Yeah.
I'm spoiling this, but kills Savage. That's been out for a long.
Yeah, come on.
Kills Savage and captures Darth Maul. Doesn't kill him. He's electrocuting him, force lightning him and all this stuff. So that's the last time we see him on screen. Now, there were unfinished episodes of him in season 6 that they turned into a comic called Son of Dathomir. And if you can go buy the trade, but it was a 5-issue series of his capture and basically Dooku interrogating him, trying to find out what he knows and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, long story short, he gets out of that and runs away and blah, 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 has a couple of Mandalores with him and goes. But the Shadow Collective at that point is gone, is dissolved.
Right.
That's the last time we think we see him. Now, he pops up very briefly in the beginning of the Ahsoka book, in the prologue of the Ahsoka book, which is fantastic because, again, those were unaired episodes
Right.
that filled in the gap. So, Clone Wars, which was awesome, they were going to make Clone Wars intersect with Episode 3 and even go beyond Episode 3. And the first thing they were going to do is explain Episode 3, where is Captain Rex?
Right.
So, again, summary real quick. There was a scene, basically in this prologue, Anakin gets told the Chancellor has been kidnapped, which is the beginning of Episode 3. And at the same time, Maul is attacking Mandalore. So he recruits Ahsoka, who had left the Order at this point,
Right.
to take Rex and a battalion of clones to defeat Maul while they go and rescue the Chancellor. So while episode 3 is beginning and that whole battle of Coruscant's going on, they're out there fighting Maul on Mandalore. Again, it's not, there's not, in the book, there's no conclusion of what happens. You obviously, so you don't know. I think you may know that Maul gets away.
Yeah, I think that's as far as it goes.
But that, okay, so timeline wise, episode 3, that is the last time we know anything about Darth Maul or Maul. He's not Darth anymore. Now, all of a sudden, so that's 19 years before episode 4. Rebels comes out. We are introduced to Maul in season 4. I think it's season 4. Season 3. Yeah, you're right. Season 3. When Ezra is drawn to Malachor, and Malachor being you see one of the big battles between the Jedi and the Sith, and it seems like there's like I don't know, some kind of purge that happened there. Blah blah.
Who knows? Thought bomb.
Thought bomb, maybe. Yeah. But so Maul is there, and he seems like he's just deserted.
Yeah.
And he's no telling how long he's been there. This is what 4 years
at this point.
3 years.
I'm gonna say it's pretty close to the next season where where we see like young Luke. So I think that's 2 or 3 years before New Hope.
Yes,
that's what I think it's pretty safe to say.
So it's safe to say there is a 16-year gap. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Where Maul is or what happened to him. This is the first glimpse of him.
Right. We get at least some kind of checkpoint now.
So at some point, he begins Crimson Dawn. He has a ton of people, and that's the thing too. As I think we talked about it for a little bit. Like, I'm not sure anybody even knows he's the head of Crimson Dawn.
That's possible. Dryden, Kira, because they're the top, but Beckett knows. Because Dryden's like, you know who I answer to. So that makes me think that Beckett knows.
Yeah, I guess.
And Beckett seems like he's pretty in deep with Crimson Dawn, and he has been for a while. So he might know more than the occasional scruff of Crimson Dawn. But yeah, I don't, and I think it says somewhere, I think it's in the, I don't know if it's the database of Star Wars or not, but it says that Dryden is the public image of Crimson Dawn.
Right.
So yeah, we know there's 9 years from Revenge of the Sith to Solo. There's 9 years where, Maul rises again as like top gangster.
He does. Which, like you said, opens just so many doors of what it could be and what it was. I mean, all kinds of mediums, but unbelievable reveal. I never saw it coming. Unfortunately, I'm sure people were, as Cody was, spoiled of that image before they went and saw it.
So Cody was. He said that something. He said that he was spoiled.
He saw an image of it,
and I bet
before he went and saw it.
I bet that's what Tim McMahon was spoiled too, probably.
Yes. Oh, yes,
Probably.
that's true. That's right. I bet you it was. Yeah. See that I would have hated that. Man.
So mad.
I would have been so mad.
That's Han Solo dying level for me.
Yes.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
That is. So I hope that kind of explained the timeline. And I think if people had any sense of that, I think it would have been a lot more accepted than confused as far as the cameo. So again, the cameo to me, see, a lot of people, a couple of guys we went and saw it with, they were like, I'll even say Jeb in particular. He's been on here. He wasn't really a fan of the movie, and he looked at me and he's like, "Was it because of the Maul? Why do you think it's good?" I was like, "No, not at all." I was like, honestly, that could have been anybody. That did not change anything about the story, the characters, what happened in the movie. I mean, that was simply one throwaway scene that had nothing really impact on the main story, right? So it could have been anybody. I was thinking that we would see maybe Jabba or Boba Fett or something like that. But Maul was just a pleasant surprise, but it didn't elevate the movie at that point. I was already in love with the movie at that point.
Yeah, it did. Like, after I saw that, I was thinking about that pretty much for the rest of the movie, just because I was so like, oh my gosh.
I didn't even really catch what he said. I was so like,
I had to watch it a second time.
Yeah,
to really understand, because he's mentioned Dathomir. I caught that part the first time. Like, come to
Dathomir is awesome.
Dathomir, and his lightsaber and Ray Park looks huge and awesome.
Yeah, I was hoping that was Ray. I didn't know at first. But
it was,
is he? I don't even know if they listed in the credits.
I got it and didn't watch it.
I think I read somewhere that they're not even listed in the credits.
I did read they shot that twice.
Really?
The only thing they added was the lightsaber
thing.
That's what Ron Howard wanted to add to make it more intense.
Also, that made it that every Star Wars film has a lightsaber. Do you know that? Because that wouldn't have had.
Well, Rogue One,
Vader.
Oh gosh, yeah, jeez. So at the very end, I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah. Because
of that, every Star Wars film still has a lightsaber in it.
Yeah,
that was like that's right when that happened. I was thinking, okay, well, there's your lightsaber.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking that we would get a movie without a lightsaber for the first time, but but not
very cool.
No. Okay, so let's get a little long here. Let's favorite moment. You got one?
Gosh, definitely the Kessel part. But I'm trying to be more specific with that. Probably the Kessel Run. I mean, the Maul part.
Yeah,
that whole bit. It was just I was so into it. That was eyes to the screen. I was so into it.
The one thing I wish I mentioned earlier at the beginning of it, the one thing I wish there was more of in this. The one thing I felt like it was maybe a little lacking, but again, if I see it again, I might change my mind. There were a couple moments I felt like that I could have gotten a little more heart, a little longer. Like there were hints of it, and like for some reason, I can't believe we keep bringing it up, but like we keep bringing up Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones has been playing like crazy on TV lately. I don't know why. Paramount Channel has like had Indiana Jones like crazy. And then I was watching Last Crusade again. There's so many awesome, just heartfelt moments with him and his father, especially, that are so perfectly timed. And Spielberg does a great job hanging on those moments. I wanted a couple more of those. With him and Kira, I felt like that end thing was a little rushed, and I didn't feel that struggle. Maybe there wasn't one, but I felt like there could have been some moments. But her and him in the Lando's closet, I felt like it could have been. But my favorite moment by far, which I felt my heart beat a little bit stronger, was when Chewie climbed into that co-pilot seat.
Yes.
And the music was going perfectly. I was like, whoa, that is awesome.
Like, here it is.
That's it, man. Yeah. That's exactly what I envisioned and felt, and I think he nailed it, man.
That was definitely,
that was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was my favorite moment.
Absolutely.
By far.
Absolutely. I think there's some great shots. Probably my favorite shot, there's one bit where they're on Kessel, and Han is firing off as he's walking up the ramp of the Falcon, so the camera is facing Han as he's walking backwards, follows him up the ramp. So you start outside, follow him up inside. It gets dark there, and you see the flashes of the blaster going off. So it's supposed to be one take, following up into the Falcon. It was just like, gosh, that was cool.
That was cool.
That was so cool.
Yeah. So Easter eggs real fast. Bosk was mentioned.
Yeah, that was cool.
The Aura Singh thing was surprising.
Whew. Beckett must be one pretty tough guy.
Yes.
Kill Aura Singh. That
was well, I didn't. The fall kind of killed her.
Yeah. Fall killed her. So you just showed her randomly?
Again, people don't know Aura Singh from the Clone Wars, but she had a cameo in Phantom Menace. She was actually live action watching the pod race. Warwick Davis's character is actually the same one from episode 1. Was it Weasel? Weasel? Yeah, Weasel.
There's stuff in Dryden's office. Little Easter eggs. There's like a little big Sith holocron in there. There's actually some. I I heard Indiana Jones Easter eggs in there.
The crystal skull,
I saw
right?
the crystal. It's not the exact
It's
crystal
not.
skull, but it's a big crystal skull.
Yes.
I heard the Holy Grail's in there. I heard the stones are in there.
What?
I heard the idol from Raiders is in there. The golden idol.
Oh man, his
think,
office is.
I think I saw the Grail, but I couldn't see anything else. I think this is in the. I can't remember. Cody sent me a screenshot of it, but there's either in that visual dictionary or the Art of. I think it's the Art of book, Art of Han Solo. There's an item that is actually belonging to Exar Kun, like an Exar Kun mask or some other item to Exar Kun, who is in old EU, is an old Republic Sith Lord. So this would be the first time canon that Exar Kun is made canon, but that also it's like a big old Republic character made canon. So that would be pretty cool if
Wait, where is he at?
That's so I think it's the Art of book.
Oh,
And I can't remember exactly what it is. I have to pull up the screenshot Cody sent me, but there's some item. I think it's Dryden's office, maybe, but some item that is connected to Exar Kun, the old Republic Sith Lord. I'm trying to find that here.
Of course, like you said earlier, the big shot gangster putting together the crew.
Yeah.
He mentions on Tatooine, so that's clearly Jabba.
Oh, I see what it is. Okay.
And then, like I said, the Black Spire outpost was kind of an Easter egg.
I found what it is. So it's in Dryden's office.
His
It's
study.
his desk.
Oh,
Let's see, is it
I don't think
here?
it's in there.
Nah.
I think it's just a study.
So I'm reading here from the screenshot. It says the central desk, which represents the administrative seat of his power, the stone base Dryden plundered from the Sith temple of Exar Kun, polished obsidian decorated with carved. So Dryden's desk is from Exar Kun's Sith temple. Now, if they're going from Old Republic, I think Exar Kun's temple was on Yavin, but maybe not. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
And Jabba, yeah, man.
I wish we could have saw Jabba.
Yeah.
that would have been crazy.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then. I guess we do see how he does win the Falcon.
Not with the dice, though.
Yes.
For goodness sakes. Why? Why did he use
So dice were just a lucky charm.
Yeah, come on. Man.
Lucky dice. No significance to winning the Falcon with it.
But they both technically cheated.
They both did technically cheat.
Lando cheated the first one. Han
well,
cheated
he
the second
prevented.
one. Lando used his cheating card to win. He took the card out from Lando's secret thing.
He didn't use it.
That's what Han used. He said, if you had this green...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He just did that.
But that's the card that... But that's what the card... He said, if you had this card, that's what makes him have... He said, because Lando says, he plays his hand, and Han's like, same thing, like, oh, it's pretty good, but if you had this card, you would have full sabak or something like that, or true sabak, or whatever he said. I think he took the card from Lando and used it in his own hand.
I didn't get the sense that he used it, but I'll have to watch it again. I'll have to see, because I felt like he laid down and said, if you had this,
you would have won.
You would have won, but he's like sitting there trying to grab it.
Yeah. Got everything you need there, buddy?
So he was going to cheat, and he prevented from cheating, and I don't know. So
that's so funny.
I don't know, but so who knows? But he won it fair and square or whatever.
Yeah, lost to be fair and square.
All right. And I'm okay with the way the Falcon looked and how they figured out. Hey, that's the escape pod, right? I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
You know? So basically, that's the escape compartment now. The Falcon. I love though how I actually love how the explanation of how it got destroyed was going through the mall or going through the cluster, because it was not the same ship when it came out.
No. Goodness, no.
Okay, so I'm sure we'll talk about it more. I'm definitely going to see it again here soon, probably this weekend. Last thing is our updated ranking. I think I have my ranking, even though it may change after I see it again. But what's your? Well, just reveal your. Let's see.
Go through the whole list.
We have 10 now, so give me your bottom 5. 6 to 10.
Jeez.
Let's go 6 to 10.
Oh, holy cow!
Do you have that?
No.
Oh, you have it written down? I got it.
Pull my list now.
So mine is, I'll give mine. At 6 I have Sith, Revenge of the Sith. 7 I have New Hope. 8 I have Last Jedi. 9 Phantom Menace. 10 Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones. So that's my 6 through 10. That really hasn't changed that much.
So you said bottom 5?
Bottom 5.
Okay. Probably will be top of that 5.
So 6, yeah.
So number 6 is probably Last Jedi. Then Return of the Jedi. Then A New Hope. Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones.
Oh, okay.
So 8, 6, 4, 1, 2.
So you got Last Jedi 6, okay. So my top 5 now, and I'll go backwards now, 5 through. My top 5 has actually been a little shuffled because before I had Jedi, Return of the Jedi a little bit lower. I've actually raised that back up a little bit because I've actually watched that a couple more times. Mm-hmm. And that whole big beginning sequence with Jabba, I just love that too much and all the reveals. Anyway, so I actually moved Return up, but I got at number 5, I've got Awakens. Mm-hmm. 4, I've got Return of the Jedi. 3, I've got Solo. 2, Rogue One, Empire, number 1. Right now, that's how it stands.
Yeah, we're pretty close. Let me put in.
Well, you got Awakens pretty high. What, 3 or 4?
Oh shoot! Hold on. Awakens is number 1 for me.
Awakens is number 1. Wow!
Right
Holy
now it is.
cow.
It's just so fun. It's just so much fun to watch. So I have bottom. So the bottom 5, the bottom of that is 3. So Revenge of the Sith, then moving up, Rogue One, Solo is number 3 for me. Then Empire, then Force Awakens.
Empire, then Force. Wow. Okay. That's a big. Yeah. That was. Yeah.
And I could possibly change that. I could possibly flip Revenge of the Sith and Last Jedi, maybe.
Put Jedi.
Above.
Should I hit it?
Maybe.
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like that's gonna be one that's gonna flip back and forth. Maybe with time, I might like it more.
Know. That's at 7 for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough for me. I'm telling you what. I might put. I have a hard time imagining. I have a hard time moving Empire out of number 1, but. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I love Rogue One, and mm-hmm. I know I'm gonna like Solo more and more as I watch it. So it's those 3 movies to me: Empire, Rogue One, Solo. Right now, like those by far are my top 3, and there's nothing else in there. So
cool.
Very shortly too, I got to organize this, but we need to do our commentary for Last Jedi. Actually, we haven't done that yet to join all our other ones. So, all right, anything else? On Solo, I'm sure we'll talk about it a little more.
I'll have to save it for later.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Go see Solo. Keep this thing going. Get it some more money. Not that they need it, but it's
they need to win.
Yeah, they need to win, and hopefully, Avengers kind of ending its run. Hopefully this maintains for a while. I'm going to go see it again, maybe a couple more times. Thanks everybody. InsideTheForce.com. Casey's Kryptonian1138. I am D Cottingham21. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, subscribe to the podcast at InsideTheForce.com. We'll be back next week, and we appreciate it. For Casey Cooley.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid. I might have said that before in an early episode, but
probably.
But I mean, that's just it. That's good. I think, and it kind of relates to things I thought that might have been missing with Han Solo, is like getting to know more about his beliefs and that kind of stuff. So, good movie though.
Awesome,
movie.
Great movie. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force in all of us.